am I the only one that wants the Capitol to burn like pigs in hell? Because I don't think so. But let me just say for the record, I haven't seen every film that came out this year, but in my opinion, this has to be the greatest film of the year. It is that good. Catching Fire. I was completely blown away by this movie. I was. Okay? Now, let me give you a little bit of a backstory of how I came into this. Because it's very important that I talk about this and that I bring this up. Because it is going to lead into something here, okay? First of all, let me do my normal thing. Hey, welcome to a new episode of Baby in the Films. Okay, we got that. Anyway, I was at a movie theater a few weeks ago, and it was opening night for The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. The theater was sold out. It was packed, and I knew it was going to be packed. I mean, it's The Hunger Games, you know. But I had not seen. Well, as I said before, I did see the original Hunger Games. As I've said, it's one of the best films of 2012. But I thought it was just okay, and I thought we would have like a normal crowd coming in to see this. It was jam-packed. A lot of people showed up to see this. But it wasn't just teenage girls. I thought the majority of it would be teenage girls. It wasn't that. It was teenage guys. It was young adults. It was senior citizens were showing up to see this movie. Little kids, like 6, 7, 8-year-old kids were coming to see this. Though I think that's kind of, I mean, for me, that's a little bit like, really? You're going to let your 8-year-old kid see this? I mean, do you know what the Hunger Games is? You know, but that's me. So I remember saying to myself, okay, well, you know what, let me just see this, because I wasn't going to go see this movie. I saw the first Hunger Games. I thought it was alright. It was entertaining. It held my attention. I really liked the characters. So I went in to see this movie thinking, alright, well, it's going to be the same thing as the first one. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be a good movie. Way better than the first one. Way better. Now, I'm not saying it's better than the first one, meaning that, you know, like, oh, the characters are better, you know, the story's more interesting. It's not that. Let's be honest. The first one is the introduction for the series. That's pretty much what the first one is. It's all about how the games are and how they work and what kind of world we're in, and that's it. The second one is pretty much, for me, that's where the story begins. Technically, it would begin with the first one, but for me, the second one, this is when all the shit is starting to go down. And the second the movie ended, and I'm not going to give too much away, the second the movie ended with the Mockingjay call, I smiled. The second the credits came up, I remember smiling and thinking to myself, I want to see Mockingjay right now. I don't want to wait a year. 2 years, because they're splitting Mockingjay into 2 movies. Part 1 next November and Part 2 in 2015 in November. So we gotta wait 2 years. But you don't have to. You can just get the book, read the book. You can find out what happens in there. But this is my feeling about this movie. This is pretty much like if Hitler took all the Nazis and they were invading countries and killing people. Imagine that in the future. That's pretty much what this is, in my opinion. Take that element and put it into the distant future. That's what this is. I mean, that's what I got out of it. That's what I was feeling. God almighty, Jennifer Lawrence, you know, man, she's such a great talent. She really is. And her as Katniss Everdeen, I loved her in that. Josh Hutcherson, who I have said before on this show, I have been a huge fan of. I really like his work. Little Manhattan is the best thing he's done, in my opinion. That was the movie that introduced me to him. I still love that movie. People Peeta Mellark is not a boring character. He's not a bland character. The second I saw the first Hunger Games, the minute he came on screen, I remember saying to myself, okay, because I didn't read the books. I said, okay, there's going to be a love interest here, and we're going to have that dumbass love triangle, which we sort of have. It's not needed, but, you know, we have that, and he's going to be a boring, bland character, and he's not. He's not. He's a very interesting character, and he wants to get out of this just as much as Katniss does. I mean, like, he has family, too. He has a lot going on with himself. He's not just there to be the love interest. In fact, one of the things I really enjoy is this whole story that they're using to trick everybody into believing that they actually are in love. It's to save their lives and to keep it going. And the way they're doing it, and the way they're still carrying it on, even into the second one, you know, to still make people believe it. Now, here's the thing. I might get a few things wrong in this, because I only saw this movie one time. I feel if I see it again, I might pick up on a couple of other things. Because, as I said before, I didn't read the books. But, you know, that stupid, dumbass love triangle thing when they're putting... Now, here's the thing. What's the guy's name? Gale? I don't know what the guy's name is. He's the guy that's in District 12 with Katniss, and he sees her a lot whenever she's not with Peeta. He's a boring character. He's a bland, boring character. Every time he's on screen, I keep thinking to myself, can't she just get back with Peeta? Not because I buy that whole romance thing. I mean, like, you can kind of tell where this is going to go. I don't, because I haven't... I'm going to say I haven't read the books constantly in this review. But anyway, I wish they would just ditch that character. I don't like that character. He's boring. Every time he's on screen, I keep thinking to myself, can he please just leave the movie? I don't care about this guy. I'm sorry, I just don't. So this is pretty much the story. If I get it wrong, please excuse me for that, okay? Because I know a lot of people like to take this seriously. President Snow, Donald Sutherland, who I loved in this role. He was so deliciously evil in such a nice but mean-spirited way. I just loved it. You know, he calls Katniss up, and again, this is right after the first one ends, and he tells her, and he says, you know, you and Peeta, you know, you were, instead of killing each other, you chose to eat the berries and stuff, but you didn't eat them because you still wanted to tell everybody, basically, that you still love each other, even though it's an act. And then that was able to save both of their lives. But then he says something that I started to think that this was interesting. This actually got my attention. He said, who's to say that's not going to happen again? You know, someone else could do the same thing, and then the Hunger Games, like, what's the point of even having the Hunger Games in the first place? And this is going to give the people hope, and they're going to rise up and destroy the Capitol, and I cannot have that. If it keeps going on, I will kill you and your family and your district. And I'm like, shit, this guy is serious. You know, I mean, especially considering the kind of people he's got working in the Capitol. I mean, this guy, shit, man. I mean, these guys aren't screwing around here. So anyway, it's the 75th Annual Hunger Games, which means it's the quarter quell, I think I might be pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. Which means that every 25 years they try to have this one person become part of the revolution to take over the Capitol, something like that. I could be wrong. Like I said, I only saw the movie one time. If I see it again, I might pick up more on this. But, you know, and they go through the Hunger Games. See, this is one of the things I really liked about it. I like the fact that even though they are adapting a novel, a book series, I like it as if, like pretend the books didn't exist. This was just a film series. Like, pretend it wasn't based off books. The second one is really, really interesting because it doesn't do what the first one did. Like, here's the thing. If you look at Harry Potter, the Chamber of Secrets, that was the same thing as the first one, if you really think about it. It really was. It was, I mean, I love I love the Harry Potter series, but the Chamber of Secrets is pretty much the same thing as the Sorcerer's Stone, in a way. I mean, they did have changes to it, but it was pretty much the same thing. Hunger Games Catching Fire is not like the Hunger Games. Why? Because we show more of the other side of what we didn't get in the first one. Like, in the first one, it focuses more on the game aspect and not on what's really going on. Second one is the exact opposite. Less of the games and more about what's going on around the games. Because we know how the games are going to go because we saw the first one, you know? So we don't need that reintroduction to it because we know how it works, okay? What we don't know is how the great scheme of things is in this world, okay? Woody Harrelson is Haymitch. I love that guy as their mentor. Very smart guy. He's not just there to give them hints and tips on killing people. He's there to help them. He's there to do something else, especially considering Katniss, which I will not ruin. I'm sure everybody's probably seen this movie by now, but there's a big twist at the end of the movie. My jaw unhinged at that. It dropped. I was like, shit, no way. Like, I was just blown away by that twist. Yeah, but he is good. Elizabeth Banks as that, I can't think of her name. What's her name? Effie? I think that's her name. Yeah, it could be her name. I don't know. Elizabeth Banks. I thought she's actually becoming more of an interesting character in this one. Philip Seymour Hoffman, such an asshole in this movie, but there's more to his character later on. You know, it's like, great. I like the characters. Finnick, I thought was a tad bit boring. He was kind of like Kale or Gale, whatever that guy's name is in District 12. Joanne, of course, I like Joanne. She's great. The character that I love a lot, like every time he comes on screen, I just have to laugh because he's just loving the role, is Stanley Tucci as Caesar. I love every time he introduces Katniss and he's like and he shows the teeth because he's like the game show, he's like the host of the show. He's like, there she is, Katniss 17, the girl on fire. I love that. I love it when he's on. And you know, and when the movie ends and it was just, oh my god. You know, I went into this movie thinking it was just going to be entertaining and just like the first one, and I loved it, and I cannot wait to see Mockingjay. I want to see it so badly. I don't even know what else to say about this movie. It's a really, really good movie. If you haven't seen it yet, you probably have, but if you haven't, I strongly recommend that you see it. Here's the thing, though. My parents are against seeing this because they think it's just about a game where kids kill kids. Because that's pretty much what the first one was. And I keep telling them, that's not what it's about. I mean, technically the first one is like that, but there's more to it. You don't know. And it keeps, like, it's a story. It's a story. It keeps unraveling as it's going, and I like that. That is what a movie should be. It's a story. It's not a situation. You know, I could not predict what was going to happen in the first 10 minutes. And if you can do that to a movie, then you know, then what's the point? This film was worth the money that I paid to see. It was worth the 2.5 hours out of my time. I recommend everyone to see it. I recommend people watch the first one first, which is what I think you obviously should do. It's a series. I think you should. If you watch the first movie, you're going to understand Catching Fire a lot better. I don't know what else to say about it. Really good film. I just loved it. And you know what? I think I might just go see it again. I really enjoyed it. I can't think of one person that said they hated it. Or someone who said it was okay. No, it's really good. A really good film. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I didn't get too much wrong in this. But yeah, that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Later.